All right, we are live on the AEW WrestleView live post show. Welcome, everyone. Glad you're joining us tonight. It was a very good show tonight. Very enjoyable show. We'll run down the card here. So tonight's live AEW Full Gear pay-per-view was in Minneapolis, Minnesota at the sold-out Target Center. It was a wild, loud crowd tonight in Minneapolis. And the first match of the night was MJF versus Darby Allen. Then we had the Lucha Brothers versus FTR as they challenged the Lucha Brothers for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. And then we saw the World Title Eliminator match, Bryan Danielson versus Miro. And then we had the Falls Count Anywhere match, which was Jurassic Express taking on the Super Click. And then we moved on to Cody Pac versus Malachi Black and Andrade. And then we had and then we had Britt Baker against Ty Conti, CM Punk against Eddie Kingston. Inner Circle took on American Top Team. And, of course, the big news of the night, Adam Page defeating Kenny Omega to become the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And we've got King of Hueco Mundo saying, wow, the show was a masterpiece. And the show was great. The other big news tonight coming out of Full Gear will be Jay Lethal, who announced he was All Elite and is All Elite. He was Tony Schiavone's special guest. He's now signed with All Elite Wrestling, and he's challenging on Wednesday night Dynamite in Norfolk, Virginia. He's going to challenge Sammy Guevara for the TNT title. And so Gabby and I actually met Jay Lethal a couple of years ago, and he was extremely personable, nice guy. He loved to talk. We love to talk with him as well. So, yep, that's right. Jay Lethal is AEW. He's All Elite. So, looking at the card tonight, the first match of the night, MJF versus Darby Allen. MJF ended up pinning Darby Allen. He cheated. Ref's back was turned. He was distracted. With a skateboard that MJF had in the ring that was Darby's. MJF pulls out his dynamite ring, the ring he has, clocks Darby with it and pins him 1, 2, and 3. And so, there we go. I was trying to get that comment there. Yep, we might get more of CM Punk Kingston matches. We will certainly talk about that as well. And Quentin, I do agree with you. The event was totally awesome. It was a great show tonight. So I expected MJF to go over. I figured he probably would win this one. So Gabby, what are your thoughts about the MJF Darby Allen match?
He cheated. Pulled the tights to win.
Yeah, he cheated.
That's what heels do.
Yep, he cheated.
It was a good match. Darby Allen gave 110%, being how he's not heavy. All the things he can do, I thought he did really well, and I thought the match was great overall.
Yep. I like MJF as a heel. I think he's great on the mic. I don't think Darby Allen lost anything tonight at all losing. I think it was a great match overall. Darby's talented in the ring. I like Darby. But MJF went over, and I don't know if this feud's going to continue or not. I doubt it, highly doubt it. But I don't know who Darby's going to move on to the feud with next for MJF. Brian Farmer in the chat room. Welcome, everybody in the chat. Thank you, everyone that's in the chat room and joining us tonight. I agree with you, Brett. I think I called you Brent. I'm sorry. Brett, I do agree with you. Anyone who says AEW does not tell stories needs to watch the main event. Totally agree with you, Brett. The Page Omega event match was absolutely great. They told a great story, and the right man went over tonight. It was great. It was a good show, good match on that. Moving on, we did see the Lucha Brothers retain the AEW World Tag Team Champions over FTR. FTR put on a good match along with the Lucha Bros. I didn't expect FTR to win. There was some near falls that were great. FTR they're the AAA World Tag Team Champs. They had some good cheating tactics that didn't play out, and the green masks that they did where they were trying to throw off the ref was fun. So the Lucha Brothers again went over. Good match. So Gabby, your thoughts on the Lucha Brothers versus FTR?
It was kind of predictable.
You think so?
The Lucha Bros would retain because they haven't had the titles very long. They just won them all out.
Right, exactly. I didn't expect
them to lose them this fast. I would think they'd probably lose them around Revolution and maybe next Full Gear.
Yeah. Maybe.
Some of the moves they were doing were just great.
Yes. Yeah, it was a good match. I agree with you. I didn't expect the Lucha Brothers to lose the title so quickly. So it was predictable in that sense, but it was still good action all around. And, Quentin Walters reminds us, if you have not subscribed or liked please like, subscribe, and share this video to your wrestling friends. If you have not liked our WrestleView YouTube channel, please subscribe to it, like it. You'll get notifications for videos. And let's see. There was one that. King of Hueco Mundo says, I agree on them dropping the belts, but I think it's bigger, built up to more matches. Let's see. Brett says, good night for tag team wrestling in the AEW. Tags followed. Officiating was nice and tight. I do agree with that. It was good. And then we've got Brett agreeing with Mundo. Glad he dropped Steve Austin late. It was good. Lively chat tonight. I do appreciate everybody being in the chat room and chatting with us and giving you your thoughts on the pay-per-view for those of you that ordered it. So moving on, we did see the Jurassic Express and Christian surprisingly defeating Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, Adam Cole, the Super Click. It was a concerto at the end. Jungle Boy putting the concerto on Matt Jackson at the end, and then pinning him 1, 2, 3. And Gabby got a little excited about that, and we were both surprised. I didn't expect the Jurassic Express or Christian Cage to go over tonight. I thought it was going to be another Super Click win. Which was great for Jurassic Express. And Gabby, you and I were talking about this during the pay-per-view that Jungle Boy is so over. He's so over no matter where he goes. He's over with all the crowds. They love him. They do the whole thing. And I don't know why Jungle Boy doesn't have – I mean, he probably doesn't need a title to go over, but he should at least have the TNT title one day. I mean, I don't think he's world title material, but at least give him the TNT title one day because he's so over with the fans. And I think if he broke away from Jurassic Express, he had no problem at all being successful as a single star, standing out as a single star. Oh yeah, Corey. I saw Corey's comment. We have to talk about Corey's comment really quick. Can't wait to see what the Bucks will do next after giving Hangman the nod. And we saw that at the end. As I was typing, Gabby, you pointed it out to me. I quickly glanced over to the TV. I saw that, and I went, are the Bucks turning face? Are they going to go baby faces? Are they pulling away from Omega? I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see how that's addressed on Dynamite, because they have to address it on Wednesday night on Dynamite. It's going to have to be brought up because, I mean, the Bucks are out there. You think they're going to get involved. They don't get involved. They give Paige the nod. He does the buckshot lariat, and then 1, 2, 3. So we'll definitely address that more. But good point on that one, Corey. That's a great point for that. So, Gabby, your thoughts on the Jurassic Express Christian defeating the Super Click tonight?
I was shocked. I thought the Super Click was going to make another win because they're quote-unquote undefeatable.
Yeah, you were jumping up and down. I thought you were going to go through the floor and into the basement. Oh. Yeah, here's a prediction.
It was surprising. I didn't think.
Yeah. Go ahead, Gabby.
I didn't think that they would have won because the Super Click tend to always cheat to win, but this time it was fair play. It was fair game.
Yep. Well, it was a falls count anywhere. So, yep. And Brett, I do think you have a good comment there. I'm with you on that. I hope he has the TNT title sometime next year. I think he's deserving of it, and give him a little bit of a run. And then Brett again, is it time to split up the elite? Do you think Omega is better suited to be a solo wrestler outside a stable, at least for now? Yeah, I agree with you on that, Brett. I thought for a long time that Omega's a stale, boring champion, and I was so glad to see finally the title was taken off of Omega. I don't want to take anything away from his talent in the ring, but I think he's overrated, and I just think as a champion he was just kind of boring and stale. But it'll be interesting to see where we go with Don Callis, because Don is no longer with Impact Wrestling. He is with AEW, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that with Don Callis. I enjoyed the Falls Count Anywhere match. It was hard to recap it and try to watch it at the same time because the action was all over the place. I mean, it was just crazy action everywhere. Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Brett. The Elite just takes up so much TV time, and it's honestly preventing other heels from getting over. That is an excellent point. Totally agree with you on that one, Brett. And I'm wondering if Adam Cole eventually is going to break out of the Super Click or the Elite and go after a title. I thought maybe we were going to see a face turn with Adam, and then he was going to turn on Kenny, but it didn't happen. So I don't know. Maybe Cole will stay in the Elite for a while, but Adam Cole is good as a singles wrestler. He doesn't need a faction to go over. He's over with the fans, whether he's a heel or whether he's a babyface. He's great. King Umundo, we're going to call him Mundo, King of Hueco Mundo. Yeah, that could be interesting. Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly in the future, because Kyle O'Reilly's contract with WWE for NXT actually is up in December, we're hearing, and NXT talent have 30-day no-compete clauses in their contract, so he could easily show up in AEW at the end of January. So yeah, it could be very, very interesting. I again enjoyed that Falls Count Anywhere. I'm not a fan of Christian Cage. I really haven't been, even when he was in WWF or E with Edge. But I do like Jurassic Express. And again, I do like Jungle Boy, and I think he's great. He'll be great as a singles wrestler. Hopefully, one day they'll pull the trigger and put the TNT title on him. So interesting as we move on. Cody and Pac, Cody Rhodes and Pac, Pac versus Malachi Black and Andrade. And so Cody and Pac went over. They defeated Malachi Black and Andrade. The interesting thing is the fans were booing. They were booing Cody in Minneapolis tonight, and and every time Cody would do an offensive move on Black or Andrade, the fans would boo. They would boo Cody, and I think they should just make. I know before I say this comment, I'm going to say this other comment. Gabby's going to disagree with me because we've talked about this, but I think they should just make Cody a heel. I mean, the fans are booing him no matter where he goes. Just make him a heel. Oh, I love Quentin. Yes, I'm not the only one who's not a fan of Christian Cage. Yep, I'm not a fan of Christian Cage, and for that fact, I've never really been a fan of Edge. When they were a tag team in WWE, but they did put on some good matches with the whole Edge and Christian and Hardy matches were great back then. So anyway, Gabby, your thoughts on Cody being booed and should they turn him heel?
No.
No,
he should stay face. He's better as a face. And he told the AEW universe that he would never turn on the fans, even if he got booed or cheered anywhere at any time. He would never turn on them. So if he turned on him, well, he'd be breaking a huge promise he made to the whole AEW universe.
Yeah, well, never say never in pro wrestling. Brett has a good comment. Cody is getting heat everywhere. He dresses like a heel. He has a long entrance like a heel, and he's also perceived as a part-timer. He just needs to embrace the fans, turning him heel. Yep, I think he could use his whole, the booing part. That he's got his TV show, his reality show. He's on that game show. I think they could maybe do some stuff with that as a heel with him. He's been a heel before when he was in WWE. He was a heel alongside Ted DiBiase Jr. And he actually was a great heel. And then I think he could be one now, but I don't know if he's going to go heel. Tony Khan's got more creative control now, even though Cody is still an executive vice president of the company. I still think that Tony will make the final decision on that. Cody probably have input, but we'll see. We'll see what the future holds on that. So yeah, we'll definitely see. I was surprised that Cody and Pac went over. I thought Malachi Black and Andrade were gonna go over, but I was kind of expecting maybe some interference from say Wyndham Rotunda, because Malachi Black says the House of Black is going to expand. So Wyndham Rotunda, a.k.a. Bray Wyatt, his 90-day non-compete clause ended October 29th. So I don't know if maybe they held off on it because it was expected, or they haven't really signed him. Will he show up in AEW as a member of the House of Black, or will he show up maybe with another faction? I don't know. It's hard to say. But yeah, I thought the same thing too, Corey, as I mentioned it. Thought Bray was going to show up, did not. But maybe it was a good thing, because you don't want to have people learn to expect surprises. And if you learn to expect surprises, then the show can become where you expect all these surprises constantly, and that's not necessarily a good thing. You kind of want to, the show flowed good tonight, and maybe Bray Wyatt will pop up on Well, you can't since Warner Media doesn't like surprises. They have to promote it ahead of time for a Dynamite or Rampage unless they can convince Warner Media, hey, we want to do this big surprise. So we'll see. Maybe Wyndham Rotunda will show up at Revolution, but surprisingly tonight, AEW didn't announce the Revolution pay-per-view that they normally would do. Gabby, you just dropped off. You need to come back in, honey. I can't hear you. You dropped off. Go back to the link. Click on that link. Re-enter the studio. We'll see what happens with Gabby. She's dropped off, so I don't know what. She'll probably figure out what's going on there. Let's see. While we're figuring that out, we've got Mundo saying Bray has a movie coming up. Yes, he does. Next year, maybe by October of next year. Gabby's coming back. Let's see. Let's get her back. There she's coming back. I can see that. A little bit of technical difficulties there. There you are. Okay, can you hear me, Gabby? Are you good? Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, Bray has a movie coming up. That's true. Let's see Brett. I want to see Brett's comment there. Yeah, Wyndham's not maybe interested in wrestling right now. He's likely burned out from wrestling, needs some time. And it seems too easy for him to join the House of Black. Easy. He is not Wyndham's MO. That's a good point, Brett. Because he probably would want to be in the leader of a faction, not the second in charge. We'll see. He'll do the movie, take some time off, be a dad that he is, and maybe by this time next year, maybe he'll pop up in AEW or maybe sometime early next year. But before Gabby, we lost her. I was mentioning that one of the surprises for me tonight was that AEW did not mention Revolution. Normally, they would promote their next pay-per-view for the coming months, and Revolution is supposed to be their next pay-per-view, which this year was March. The year before they did it in February. So I don't know if they're going to do Revolution or not, or if they're just going to go straight to the Double or Nothing in May. But I would expect them to promote Revolution maybe coming up on Dynamite and Rampage this week or maybe the following week. It's hard to say. So as we move on again here, Gabby and I expected Britt Baker to retain over Tay Conti. Tay's former NXT talent. She's very talented in the ring. I think that maybe in the future she could have a possible title run, but I don't think so. We expected Britt to go over. So what did you think of that match, Gabby? What did you think of Britt retaining over Tay Conti?
It was predictable. I had a feeling that Britt Baker was gonna win. She always wins. She finds a way to win every single time. So I mean, Tay Conti may someday be women's champion. She's just not material for that right now. Maybe someday when she gets further into wrestling, she'll be for that. But for right now, I think she just should stick to where she's at instead of trying to go after the title.
Yeah. So Corey Howell's got a good comment. Thunder Rosa could be the one, or will be the one, to take the title off Britt. She could be. We could have Thunder Rosa take the title off Britt. That could happen. I don't expect that to happen maybe until Double or Nothing. Britt won the title from Hikaru Shida, which is Gabby's favorite wrestler. Not.
She's so boring. Nobody
Yeah, she's
likes
gonna.
her. The fans
She's,
just sit there and they just look at her and there's no
yeah,
reaction. She's
yeah,
so
she's kind of bland.
boring.
Yeah. So Britt won the title from Hikaru Shida last May at Double or Nothing. So if they take the title off Britt, probably won't be. I would think it won't be until Double or Nothing of next year. Maybe Thunder Rosa. I don't know. Corey brings up that maybe Ruby will win the TBS title because that's that secondary women's title. So yeah, that could happen as well. But it will be definitely interesting to see who who dethrones Britt from the title. If because I would expect her to have it for a year. And Quentin says that Tay Conti just isn't the one yet. Sheeta is blah at best. So Quentin agrees with you, Gabby. Sheeta is blah at best. Yeah, she comes out to crickets. I mean, I don't really like her that much.
Yeah,
I don't really care much for her.
she does.
Yeah.
My question
Yeah,
is, what's
and
going to happen to the TNT women's title?
well, there's no You mean the TBS women's title? There's no TNT. You think there's no TNT women's title? You're thinking of the world title?
Yeah, for the women.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, they got the TBS title, and it could be Ruby Soho or maybe Thunder Rosa. I don't know, or or if they pull, if they want to pull the trigger and have Thunder Rosa, dethrone Britt, or they have Ruby Soho, or by chance they bring in someone else to dethrone Britt. So I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see what they do with the TBS title, who they put it on, who they put that title on. And I don't expect it to be on Rampage because that Rampage is staying on TNT. So I expect that title to be defended on pay-per-views and only on TBS when Dynamite moves to TBS January 5th of 2022 as Rampage stays on TNT. Corey Howell says maybe Jade. So maybe Jade winning the TBS title, maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't think she'd dethrone Britt. She's a heel, but they could make her face. It'll be interesting to see. So I don't know. There's a lot of interesting storylines they could come up with. A lot of interesting matchups they could come up with. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that in the near future. But yeah, Britt went over. I like Britt Baker as a talent. She's great as a heel. I like the fans still. She's still over with the fans with the DMD thing, which is absolutely great. So yeah, I would expect her to. I would expect the title to be taken off of her at Double or Nothing next year, as that pay-per-view is planned for the Las Vegas, Nevada. The venue is expected to be the MGM Grand, but that has not been confirmed. So that I also read and also heard that will be kicking off the West Coast tour for AEW. They're going to hit the California area. So, and I think Tony Khan mentioned that in the conference. It was the media call on Thursday. So interesting enough, as we move on, I'm going to be curious to hear those in the chat from their opinions. So the CM Punk Eddie Kingston match, that was a great match. I expected CM Punk to go over. It was interesting. There were dual chants for let's go Eddie, let's go Punk, let's go Eddie, let's go Punk. But what was also interesting is that people were booing Punk in Minneapolis, and then Punk was jawing at some of the fans, calling him a derogatory name. And the fans were so into Eddie Kingston, and he was so over tonight with the fans in Minneapolis. I mean, it was just crazy. And then, Punk would do some offensive moves. You get booed, then you get cheered, you get booed. Eddie was cheered all around, but there was a split boo cheer for Punk. So I was wondering, thinking to myself, Are they going to turn Punk heel? Is he going to cut a heel promo on Dynamite on Wednesday? And he's bleeding. He's bleeding like crazy with his in the match, and he wins with the go to sleep. End of the match, he puts his hand out, to shake Eddie Kingston's hand. Eddie Kingston kind of bats it away, and he leaves. And then Eddie Kingston gets booed. So the Minneapolis crowd was interesting tonight. So I'm not sure if I don't know if Punk's going to turn heel or not. Oh, I want to see Brett here. He's got a comment about his brother so he says his brother Brian went to the pay-per-view, said at any moment that looked like the crowd lost energy. The crowd was sitting on the edge of their seat, no loss of energy at all. Yeah, watching the thing on TV, Brett, the crowd was hot all night. They were crazy all night. So, yeah, it was definitely a hot crowd. And so, yeah, I agree with Corey. The Punk Eddie was great, but I'd like to hear from people in the chat. Is CM Punk going to go heel? Is he not going to go heel? It was just very interesting with the boos that he got. And it'll be interesting to see if he gets booed in Norfolk, Virginia on Wednesday night, or if he cuts a face promo, giving Eddie Kingston credit. So it'll be very interesting. Definitely a 4-star match. I agree. It was great. So Gabby, your thoughts on CM Punk and Eddie Kingston?
Well, the Minneapolis crowd was absolutely bonkers. Kind of like Canada being Bizarre World. But I thought it was great when the crowd was saying, "Let's go Kingston, let's go Eddie." I'm like, oh gosh, this is old fashioned. Tony Khan brought in that good for wrestling back with pay-per-views. He brought what everybody wanted back in the pay-per-views with all the good matches and all the action that people are looking for. The match was great overall. I think they did a really good job. They gave it their all tonight, and it was a really good, decent match.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Man. So Brett says his brother Brian's leaving the arena. If we have a way for him to call in, he'd call. I don't think we have a way for him to call in. I haven't figured that out. But if Brian wants to go live with us for a few minutes on the chat, I can send a link, a chat link to him and by email, and we can have him. I can do an invite, and we can get him actually on briefly if you'd like to do that. I don't know how difficult it will be for him to do that, Brett, but you can certainly reach out to him and let him know. We can figure that out because I would love to get his perspective since he was at that show. It's always great getting perspectives from individuals fans that attend the shows in person because they'll see stuff in person that won't come across on television. Which is good. So yeah, that would be great, Brett. If you could do that, we'll figure out a way to see if we can get him on by video. Yeah, the CM Punk Eddie Kingston match was great. Eddie was over with the fans. I enjoyed the match. They did put their all into it. There's a lot of heart into it. They took some situations in the past between Eddie and Punk on the indies and brought that into a storyline. And it was great. Yeah, Quentin, I do think a slow heel turn with Punk would be totally amazing to watch. He has that. Yep, I agree with you. It'd be great because Punk is great as a face. He's great as a heel. The time he was the WWE champion, when I think it was over 400 days, he was the WWE champion. He started off as a face, then turned heel, and he was absolutely great as a heel. And yep, Corey, I do like the backstory with CM Punk and Eddie Kingston. I thought it was great, and yeah, it was enjoyable. I really enjoyed that whole backstory. Enjoyed the match. It's probably done at this point. I don't think there's anything further they can do. Punk went over, and Punk went over, and that's that was the story they told. So I completely understand. Traffic is weird. I get it. Used to live in a big city myself, and so I completely understand how weird traffic can be. So Brett, if you can reach out to your brother and have him do a report, kind of like like a live kind of an arena report. Give his perspective. Have him send it to Jerome, Jerome. I'll put my email up here. You can I'll put it up here on the chat real quick, and he can you can send me. Let's see. So let's see. Yeah, there we go. So if your brother Brett could send me an email to that address, kind of giving us an in-person perspective on how things went from seeing it live, giving us a report on what he saw versus what we saw on television, because they're going to see some different stuff on TV versus what's in the arena. An on-site report is what I'm looking for. If he could send that to me at his convenience, that'd be great. I'll throw it up on the website. I'll throw it up on WrestleView. I'll give him credit for it. Be great if he has any pictures he wants to send me as well. Have him do that. I'll throw them up on the website as well as part of that on-site report, and give him credit for that. So yeah, that would be wonderful, and that would be great. And we'll have to figure out in the future how we can get phone chats in. So yeah, so that'd be great. Yeah, awesome, Brett. Great, love it, absolutely love it. All right, so the other after the CM Punk Eddie Kingston match, we went to the special announcement from Tony Schiavone, and Tony Schiavone had a special guest, and out comes Jay Lethal. And as Gabby and I mentioned before, when we lived in a different area near the Seattle area a few years back, and they had a Ring of Honor television taping, and we ended up going to the taping, and we met Flip Gordon, we met the Beer City Bruisers and Silas Young and Jay Lethal. And Jay was fun to talk to. He was very personable. We enjoyed visiting with Jay. Jay announced tonight that he is all elite. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, he is challenging Sammy Guevara Wednesday night on Dynamite, live on Dynamite, coast to coast. It's live coast to coast. And he is challenging Sammy Guevara for the TNT title. And it's great to see Jay sign with a company, because Ring of Honor sadly is on hiatus, and all the talent that were under contract through the end of December were free to sign with any promotion they wanted to, as they were let go. Talent that is under contract past 2021 is not free to sign yet. They can go anywhere they want. It's believed to be go anywhere they want, either March or April of 2022. It's sad because Ring of Honor, I don't know if they're going to come back or not. They're on hiatus. They're going to revamp. They're supposed to come back, but we'll see. We will see what happens. So it'll be very interesting with that. Oh, yes. Hello, Mark. Glad you could join us tonight. Glad you're in the chat. We'll talk later. So yeah, I'm good. Good for Jay. Glad Jay signed with All Elite Wrestling. I think Jay can have some great matches. He's good on the mic. He was great as a Ring of Honor champion. He was a heel at one point, and he was a great heel in Ring of Honor. But I also think he's going to be a babyface in AEW. And I don't think he's going to win the TNT title on Wednesday night, but I think they're going to put on an excellent match. And I'm looking forward to that match Wednesday night. We won't be able to watch it live, but that's why we have DVR. That's why we have the DVR, and we'll have to watch it. Definitely have to watch it. Again, that match. So yeah, Quentin is reminding everyone again, if you're new, please like, subscribe, and share this video. Thank you, Quentin, for that. Mundo, we don't know who's buying the ROH tapes. We've heard they're for sale. I don't know if WWE is going to buy them or not. It would make sense for AEW to buy the tapes because Ring of Honor owns the footage for the All In pay-per-view that took place several years back in Chicago or outside of Chicago. And Ring of Honor owns that footage, as I mentioned. And you've got Adam Cole. Now you've got Jay Lethal in AEW. So they've got a former ROH talent. And maybe Kyle O'Reilly coming over, and he's a former ROH talent. So it would make sense for me if I were Tony Khan, I would buy the tapes. And Brett says Tony Khan should buy the ROH tapes. Content for the rumored streaming platform is talking with Warner Media. Yes, Tony Khan is working on a content streaming platform with Warner Media. That would be excellent footage to put on the streaming service with Warner Media. I think that would be a good selling point. I think a streaming service is coming in 2022 for AEW. I think the streaming service will consist of putting on Rampage and Dynamite on delay. And I think that the pay-per-views could eventually move over to that streaming service. It would make sense. Do what WWE does with the streaming services. However, that all that stuff I'm sure is going to be talked about, worked out, because there's lots of money involved in that stuff. Lethal versus Cody could be good. Cody was in Ring of Honor at one point. He and Brandy were in Ring of Honor. Cody was a great heel in Ring of Honor, and so maybe he could turn heel, feud with Jay. Might be interesting to see. It would be interesting. So there's some great matches with Jay Lethal coming up, I'm sure. Moving on. The next match was wild, crazy, all over the place. Before we move on, there's some questions in here. Brett's got a question. Will this be a streaming service or a section of HBO Max? That is a really good question, Brett. I haven't heard anything about that, but it could be a separate streaming service, or it could be a way of getting more subscribers to HBO Max, doing what Peacock does with WWE Network here in the United States, where all of the WWE footage for the content for the network is on Peacock. Peacock's had a little uptick in subscribers to that, so that could happen. It would make sense to me, Brett. I agree. I think that let's get a section of HBO Max to have AEW programming. That way, it's a win-win because HBO Max gets more subscribers, and AEW doesn't lose anything. They just get more money out of the deal, and so does So does Warner Media. Another question from Brett. Yeah, Warner Media owns BR Live. That's correct. And they are they do own BR Live, and which does own TNT and TBS. So yeah, I don't know if the pay-per-views will move. That's a good point. Very good point. That's a very good point. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe they'll have both. Throw them both. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say what Tony Khan's and Warner Media are chatting about, because I know that Tony Khan's deal with Warner Media is up in 2023. So I would expect that Warner Media would renew their deal with AEW. I don't think that TNT and TBS would want to lose pro wrestling, since they're doing really well on those networks. So, Gabby, you'd be excited about a streaming service for AEW, wouldn't you be?
Yeah, I've been waiting for it for like ever.
Yeah, you'd be begging me to subscribe. Yeah. Yeah. So after the Jay Lethal came out and did the challenge to Sammy, or took Sammy Guevara's challenge up, we had the Wild and Crazy Inner Circle and American Top Team and Men of the Year match. And that was wild. That was hard to recap at times because it was all over the place. What did you just do, Gabby? I was looking at my notes. What did you say? Did you do like a gag thing? Oh, whoop-de-doo?
Yes, because America's Top Team and the Men of the Year are just blah.
They're blah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They suck.
Oh my gosh, it's funny. So I was glad that finally Inner Circle went over on American Top Team, and the Men of the Year, because this feud, I think, went on a little bit too long. It's done. I don't know if American Top Team's going to be back in AEW. I think they're probably going to pull out, and I think they're going to just move on. And the Inner Circle, I think, needs to move on. I think that faction's been going around way too long, and I think they just need to split them up and make them all single stars. And so finally, I'm glad the feud is over, which it appears to be. Dan Lambert got what was coming to him, which is what was expected. But they had hockey sticks, trash cans, tables, that crazy spot with Sammy Guevara doing that swanton off the top of the ladder that had to be at least 20 feet high. It was crazy. But it was with a mini football. They had a football, a Minneapolis street fight. So yeah, all those foreign objects I expected to go over. And speaking of foreign objects, I want to back up. Totally forgot about the thumbtacks in the mouth with yeah, you like that stuff, Jungle Boy. That stuff's just crazy. Stuff is just absolutely crazy. Yeah, you like that stuff, I know. I know, it's just crazy. So let's see what we've got in the chat here. Yeah, you're gonna like Gabby. You're gonna like Brett's comment. Men of the Year need more personality than just Lambert.
Thank you. Somebody finally agrees with me on this.
Yeah, I mean, Ethan Page, I mean, he was good in Impact, and I thought he was great with Josh Alexander as the North with the tag team, and then he comes to AEW, and I just don't think they're giving him enough of a push. So, yeah,
he should have just stayed face. He was better as face.
Yeah. So let's see. American Top Team, Men of the Year are all meh. It was time for a toilet break. That's Quentin Walters.
Thank you.
Yeah.
People are actually finally starting to agree that American Top Team.
Yeah, I don't know what's next.
Are just not the best.
Yeah, I don't know what's next for Men of the Year. At this point, Scorpio Sky. He was good with SoCal Uncensored, even though that was still a bland bland faction for me. Oh, yes, Brett. Thank you. The Bunt Cake Pan. Oh, yes. And then Tony Schiavone giving Bunt Cake facts. Yes, that was great. Loved it. It was funny. That was definitely funny. That was hilarious. So, Gabby, your thoughts on the whole Inner Circle American Top Team Minneapolis Street Fight match overall?
Inner Circle won. I'm more happy about that than the Men of the Year and America's Top Team. I was so happy when the Inner Circle won. It was quite a shocker to me because Tony Schiavone had said something about Eddie dying in
That was
Minneapolis.
Eddie Guerrero. Yep.
And then I was like, oh, okay, so they must be doing a tribute or something because Chris Jericho was on the floor.
Yeah, well, as we had you and I chatted before, because you were you were young, a lot younger when Eddie Guerrero sadly passed away, and it was in Minneapolis, Minnesota, in that hotel room when we watched that episode of Dark Side of the Ring, and they talked about that. Remember that? And so it made sense, and it was very respectable to pay tribute to Eddie in Minneapolis. So my hat's off to Tony Khan and AEW for that. I like Quentin Walters' chat. What is next for Men of the Year? Who cares?
Thank you. No, nobody cares about Men of the Year. They should split up and just be their own solo wrestlers.
Well, yeah, we'll go back to, I put up Brett's comment, and I'm going to put it back up again. The Men of the Year just hold back Scorpio Sky. So there you go, Gabby, on that. Yep, I'm glad it was a good frog splash, good tribute to Eddie Guerrero, one of the greats that was, that left us too soon in the wrestling world. So yeah, great frog splash to end that match. So yep, it was definitely good. And then I thought the match was crazy. I expected all the wildness, being a street fight. The tables and the ladders and the chairs and the hockey sticks. And I thought it was great that Chris Jericho went under the ring and he pulled out that Prince symbol. Gabby won't know who Prince is because she's too young to know who Prince is. He was a singer, songwriter. He was from Minneapolis, Minnesota, passed away a few years ago. So that was their tribute to Prince. Jericho pulls that out, and uses it as a weapon. Small, Purple Rain chant from the crowd in Minneapolis. So that was kind of fun to see that. Yeah, Corey, I agree with you. I'm over the Orange Cassidy. I'm gonna put that up. It's not showing up, but there we go. Yeah, I'm over that Matt Hardy Orange Cassidy feud also. Yeah, I think Orange Cassidy needs to move on, but I don't think they have anything else for him to do right now. But so we'll see. He wasn't on the pay-per-view tonight, but he's going to be on Dynamite Wednesday. So yeah. So moving on, the match of the night, or the big match of the night rather. Adam Page becoming the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. He's going to go into Dynamite in his home state on Wednesday night as the new AEW World Champion. I'm glad that Page finally got the title. Again, nothing against Kenny Omega, not to take anything away from him, but he held the title for a long time, which was great because I'm glad that we're not playing hot potato with titles, and they're Tony Khan is having these these title holders hold the belts for long periods of time. But it was time for Omega to drop it. I'm glad he did. They told a great story. So we'll see what's next for Omega. I think someone in the chat earlier had mentioned that maybe Omega was going to be breaking off of maybe the elite. We'll have to see. So there's Beef Farmer. 980 just got back from the arena. What a show. So if you want to get on with us, BR Farmer, I can send you a link, an invite link, and you can give us your perspective on what you saw at the show. That would be great. If you want to do that, let me know. The email that was put up earlier on the chat, my WrestleView email, you can send me your email. Send me your email, BR Farmer 1980. Send me your email to Jerome at WrestleView.com. I'll put it up one more time since I was scrolling through the chat and it's way up on the chat. And so let's do that right now. So let's see. So BF Farmer 1980, I'm putting up. Send me your email to that email, and I will send you the invite link. And it should work. And I can do that. And I will definitely get it up, and we can have you on. Yeah, I agree with Quentin. Omega was getting stale as a champion. Meltzer would have wouldn't have loved that booking decision. But yeah, Gabby, you thought that Omega was kind of stale as a champion. Also, I think we were talking about that.
He would have been better to stay as a face and rather turn a heel. And I think he might be falling away from the Super Click. He might be falling in his own wave.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You know
Don Callis could become his manager.
Yeah. You know what match we forgot to talk about? I was on my notes and I missed it. Miro and Bryan Danielson. How could I missed that? How could I missed that? So yeah, Miro, because I saw it in the chat. So I guess we're going to look at Bryan Danielson versus Adam Page. And so, are we going to face versus face? Yeah, we could maybe face versus face. Yeah, could happen.
Well, Miro's, I think, a heel.
Yeah, he is.
And Bryan Danielson is a face. So who knows? Maybe it'll be face on face.
Yeah. Yeah. So I still haven't gotten BF Farmer 1980. I still haven't gotten your email yet. So I don't know if you're sending that, but if you can send that, that would be great. I can get the link to you, and you can definitely get you on to chat because I would love to hear your perspective of the show tonight. It'd be wonderful to hear that. So yeah, we'll wait a few minutes on that. I think you liked the match, Gabby, overall, the page. I got it. I got it from Brian. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to link him here in a moment. The link is going to come from a different email address because I have that email up right now. So you're going to get a different email from a different email address from me. So just to let you know, it is me. It's my personal Gmail account, which is up. So I am going to send that now. Invite link to, let's see, at okay. All right. So in the subject line, I'll put my name, so you know it's me. And let me make sure I've got your email correct. Okay. Bear with me just a moment here. Okay, let's see here. I have to take my glasses off to type this correctly. So, okay. All right. So, okay. It should work. All right. So, here we go. All right, so BF Farmer 1980, it'll be WrestleView as the subject line. The link's there. I'm sending it to you now, and I should get the invite from you. So hopefully you'll get that, and you'll just have to enter the chat. You'll have to BF Farmer 1980. You'll have to you'll have to enter the chat room, enter the studio. Actually, is what it's called. So if you have any issues, let me know. Quentin says the Miro Danielson was a great match. Having a face on face match would be great. This would be it'd split the fans in half. I think that would be great. Yep. And while we're waiting for BF Farmer 1980 to get that link and to get in the chat with us. I see him there. I thought Adam Page match was great, so we're going to add him to the stream, and you should be in the studio. BF Farmer 1980, welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. So you were actually at the Target Center tonight.
Oh yes.
All right. So where were your seats at?
I was on lower level. It was on the hard camera side.
Okay.
I was up kind of at the top of lower level, but lower level. Excellent seat. Yeah. Great view of the ring. Great view of the video cam, the video screen as well. So
yeah. So Excalibur announced at the beginning of the pay-per-view it was sold out. So was it legit? Was it a legit sellout?
Oh yes, no, absolutely, no doubt about it. There wasn't an empty seat in the arena. It was just filled to the brim. Very jazzed crowd. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
They were just electric through the whole evening. Just the atmosphere was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think I don't know exactly how things translated to television, really, but there were a lot of sort of split crowds and mixed chants through the night.
Yeah.
What you have to know, at least from what was going on in the crowd, like let's say, probably the best example was Punk in Kingston.
Yes.
It really wasn't a split crowd so much as we were cheering for both these guys. I mean, people that were booing Punk 1 minute were cheering him the next, and you're chanting for both. What can't translate to TV is that Minneapolis, the Twin Cities, this area loves professional wrestling.
Yes, they do.
It was the center point of a territory, home of the AWA. For my money, the Twin Cities have produced more talent, more greatness, and more championships than anywhere in the nation. I mean, when you start listing names from like Von Raschke, who was there tonight, and the place just went berserk for him. But I mean, you had Kurt Hennig, Arn Anderson, Nikita Koloff, Brock Lesnar. And that's just scratching the surface. I mean, I tend to, around people I know around here, I call this professional wrestling's Royal City. I think that's the correct moniker, but like just the crowd was having fun more than anything. I mean, you cheer one side and the other side, and just there was no letdown really in the energy. I'm sure it probably came across that way on TV. There were several spots during the show, though, where people honestly were just on the edge of their seats watching all this. I mean, the tag match in the middle, Cody and Pac against Andrade and Malachi Black, that was the breather kind of that we all needed.
Sure.
But I mean, honestly, I mean, I've thought about it, since I left the building, and kind of coming down from everything now, I still think top to bottom, that may be the best wrestling show I've ever seen.
Oh, excellent.
Just unbelievable. There was not a bad match on the card, really. I mean,
no, not at all.
The tag match was the low point, and even that was a good match. I think people in the arena, I mean, it's very anti-Cody, and I'm sure that came across.
It did.
I think we all just want him to lean into it a little bit more. I mean, and I feel like he's working the long game here personally, but it was unbelievable. Just a great show, great atmosphere. Everybody left happy. Just awesome experience.
Was the crowd hot coming across on TV? It didn't seem like the crowd was as hot when Paige, won the title, but did it seem like that in the arena, or was it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the crowd just they went nuts. I mean, it was almost, you could really feel sort of the support that Hangman had in the building. I mean, just everybody was behind him. It's such a relatable character to so many people that he really has managed to make a connection with people here. And I mean, the payoff of honestly 2 years of storytelling in this match tonight, it was just the perfect way to cap off the show. It was wonderful.
Now, I don't know if you probably had heard, or I don't know if you saw it where you were sitting, but it was Matt Jackson that gave that little nod to Adam Page, did the Buckshot Larry, and then so maybe
on the screen.
Okay. Maybe a face turn for the Bucks.
It's I feel like, at least it came across to me like we're setting up for a little bit of maybe controversy in the Elite. The Bucks sort of backing off, honoring Page's basically ultimatum to him earlier in the night. Was everybody kind of noticed that and kind of smiled at that. The managers that worked tonight were just a phenomenal. I have always loved great wrestling managers, and between Callis and Dan Lambert, I mean, they brought the crowds, I mean, even more to life with what they did. I mean, it was they were people. We were really laying into both of them during the evening, but it was good stuff. So
that's great. Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, it's good to get a perspective from somebody who was there. I always like to hear that stuff.
It was a ton of fun. A lot of fun. Most fun I've had in years, honestly. It was a great show.
Yeah. Great. Well, I'm glad you were able to come on and share with us your perspective.
Absolutely. Happy to.
Yeah. You get a chance, send me an on-site report with some photos and other stuff you want to include. I'll throw it up on the website.
All right. I'll send it along to you later on.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us tonight.
No problem. Have a good evening, y'all.
You as well. Thanks. Excellent to hear that perspective. So we're going to wrap up things here in just a few minutes, as it is a late night for those of you on the East Coast. Thank you for joining us so late. Those of you in the Midwest, appreciate you joining us as well, because I know it's late for you. Those of you on the West Coast, not so late. Here in the Mountain Time Zone, it is a bit late. So, Gabby, your thoughts, overall thoughts on tonight's pay-per-view? Full Gear. What are your thoughts?
Better than last year's Full Gear. I mean, every Full Gear has a different card, but I think this one overtopped last year's Full Gear.
Yeah, I think so. I think this was a great Full Gear. This one was much more enjoyable. So yeah, I thought top to bottom, I thought this was an excellent card. I thought the matches were great. I thought that Tony Khan and all the talent put their heart into it. And kudos to Tony Khan and all the talent that worked hard tonight. I say tonight because it's still tonight for us here in the Mountain Time Zone, but I know for those in the Midwest and the East Coast, it's late. So the next pay-per-view, Brett, is supposed to be Revolution. They did Revolution last year in March, or this, I shouldn't say last year. This year's Revolution was done in March because of a conflict with a boxing pay-per-view. But they usually do it in February. They did it in February of 19, and then this year they did it. Last year they did it in March. So it's supposed to be Revolution. I was surprised that AEW did not announce that tonight. They're already promoting Double or Nothing for May in Las Vegas, but I don't know. It's interesting. So maybe on Wednesday night they'll and make the announcement. I don't know. It's a very good question. Very, very good question. So, Corey's asking, does Roy still do SmackDown post shows? Roy has not been doing SmackDown post shows, and my understanding when I spoke with him last on that was due to Rampage being on at 10 p.m. Eastern. So I think he's working out possibly maybe trying to do one on a Saturday morning or do them on Saturday mornings. I'm not quite sure. Next time I speak with Roy, I'll ask him that question again because I actually am curious as well. So top to bottom, great pay-per-view. So again, want to thank all of those in the chat room that joined us tonight with great comments and questions. BF Farmer 1980, thank you so much for being willing to come on the show tonight and give us your perspective from being in the arena. And so it was, again, a great show. Any final closing thoughts, Gabby, before we wrap it up for tonight? Nope.
No,
Okay.
just that the show was great.
Yeah, it was good. Looking forward to the next one, which should be Revolution. The fallout from tonight's Full Gear on Wednesday should be great. Sure, it's going to be a hot crowd in Virginia. We looked at the Chartway Arena tickets just for curiosity. Looks like it's pretty close to a sellout. Probably will be a sellout for that live Dynamite and Rampage taping on Wednesday night. So we'll see. So again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And everybody have a good evening. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the WrestleView YouTube page. And Mike and Victoria Tedesco will be here on Monday night following Monday Night Raw for their live post show. And be sure you tune in for that as well. So good night, everyone. And again, thanks for joining us.